So this is partly the answer to your question. You see, it can be done in that situation. You can do it as a classroom teacher. You can tell the kids, well, I can't decide this, this, and this. This is I have not my authority. But here's something that is in my authority. You want to decide, these are the possibilities. We can discuss it.
But the system doesn't let you time to do it. You know, or the system sets too many rules to follow, and
but there are, as I said, it's important not to limit yourself too much. For example,
well, I quit, so that was my solution.
No, but you know, listen. Maybe some situation it's impossible, but in most situations, you have the right to make some decisions. So the decisions you have the right to make, the students can make. You see. I'll give you an example. I did a consultation in a state school where they had a program for problem children. It was a special program that took place after school. And so after visiting there, they said, you know, they asked me if I could demonstrate how the democratic process worked. So the kids sat in a big circle, and in the beginning, you could tell by the body language, they were pretty skeptical. At the end, they're like this. And I give one particular moment I think was a turning point when one of the kids said, why are we not allowed to use hats? You know, no one's even in the school. You know, why can't we have hats in school during school? And the teacher said, well, that's a district rule. But if you want, I'll go with you to the school board, and we'll see if we can change that rule for us.
You don't even have school boards.
Yeah, and so at that point, all of a sudden, you could see a change. All of a sudden, the students realized they were not on opposite sides; they could be on the same side with their teacher. And so these are the experiences. There's always something you can do in this situation. I was a teacher in the state school. I had a special program for children that was supposed to be underachievers or had reading problems, and they could choose to go during their free period. And I wrote a little kind of a diary about it called "I Was a Spy in the Public Schools." And they called me Jerry in the classroom, Mr. Mintz in the hallways. And so, you know, I was able to do something in that situation. There are things you can do. Sometimes they're a little risky, but there are things you can do in almost any situation that you're in. And I think there are things that classroom teachers can do to get this idea across to the students. Other questions? Yeah.
I'm curious of the financial background of the school. Do the parents have to pay for the education, or is it free?
Yeah. Okay. There are a big variety of possibilities. Most of the democratic schools are independent schools because you can't do those things in the system. There are some exceptions. In Israel, there are 25 schools that are democratic schools that are government schools. There are some other situations. There's a few in the United States that are government schools, charter schools, but it's difficult. I know of a number of them that were going and then got closed. But we have helped start schools that were based on the model of my school. They're independent schools, but we have a sliding scale tuition according to the family's ability to pay. There's even an organization that will determine how much each family should pay, and they collect the money from them, so you don't have to go around getting it all the time. In addition to that, we do a lot of fundraising. So we started 2 schools lately. As I said, one of the things we do is I have an online course for school starters. And also I go around and do consultations, and we'll be doing that here for people who want to start something new around here. And we started one in Brooklyn and one in Manhattan. And these schools have the sliding scale tuition so that kids are not rejected because of finances. And so any parent has the possibility of sending their child to the school. And we also do a lot of fundraising. So we became quite expert. My school had only 25% of its income from tuition. The rest of it was from fundraising and however else we could get it. I became an auctioneer, licensed auctioneer, so that we could do regular auctions. One of my graduates started a bingo and raised about $100,000 for us over the years. And so there are things you can do. I know one school that in West Virginia that got people to donate old oil and gas wells to them, and they run them. And so that money covers a lot of the support for their school. I know another school in Albany, New York. They're called the Albany Free School. And they bought up 10 or more row houses in the middle of their city, and they got together as a community and fixed them up. And the rent money runs the school and covers a lot of the cost. So there are ways to do it, but you have to be creative. But I must say, I will help anybody who wants to do it who's in a state school. But basically, my general approach is that if you're going to change the system, you pretty much have to do it outside the system. And this would include homeschooling, home education. In the United States, there are now 2 million homeschoolers. 2 million. In England, there are at least 100,000. And there's so many in the United States that certain states, like California, have special programs